Question is, are you still all in? Welcome to the John and Joe Show, where we talk about leadership, community, and random musings. I am Jonathan Schober, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Joey McGurr.
Hey, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good.
Okay, before we go any further, where do people need to go if they want to talk to us?
Well, if they want to talk to you, they want to go to... Why is our producer not in front of his...
Hey, Mr. Producer, you need to come look in the camera.
We don't actually have our video producer producing video while we're recording.
Yeah, our video producer just walked into the room.
I have a feeling that we may have to have some kind of crucial conversation.
That's right. Hey, we do have a video producer, and we're like very high tech because he's actually
a video producer
doing all of the switching from another room. Which
thank you, John David.
Thanks, John David. All right. Well, we're glad to be here. Here's the question that I have. The year is marching on. And the question is, are you still all in? I mean, I think that there's so much, people go and they say, well, I want to do this or that. And like, oh, you got to go all in. No, we're not talking about like jumping off of a cliff, without any safety harnesses or anything. Mm-hmm. I think what we're really talking about is, do you actually have a plan? And are you keeping that plan? Or are you using that plan to be all in?
So what you're saying is that I made these big plans or these big decisions.
I made this big goal. Woo, I'm going to go
climb Mount Everest.
Exactly.
Whatever. Or start a business this year and then be a success. Or I'm going to write my book or whatever it is.
Right.
Have you bought your plane ticket to Nepal, or have you
Do you even know where Mount Everest is?
I do, because there's a Google virtual tour of the hike to the base camp, and it's pretty awesome. But that's probably the closest I'll ever get to it.
Yeah.
But have you written chapter 3 of your book, right? Or have you written your business plan, right? So when you talk about plans, I mean, if you're all in, are you
actually still all in? Are you looking to see what's going to happen to the end of the year? It's great. I love it when a plan comes together. Kind of have to have a plan in order to have a well-executed plan.
Well, what's that saying? To have a well-executed plan, you have to plan what you executed.
Exactly.
Or who you're going to execute.
No, that's for another show. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is leadership, community, and random musings.
We record at night. So, but that's so true. And how many times do we fail to, we get excited about something, right? We have a new idea or a new client or a new project, and instead of sitting down, mapping it out, and having a plan and putting processes in place that make it succeed, we dive right in and we go right for step 18 when we needed to go step one. Step one. Let's have a plan. What's it look like in April if we start in January? What's it look like in October? What's it look like a year after you started? And how do you know if you've hit benchmarks? How do you know if you have any success? And benchmarks. Don't get me started on that's a metric a lot of people use wrong. And a benchmark is that's like saying, okay, it's
not just a random number that I threw out and I said, if sales are $100 million by February 1st, that's our benchmark.
No, benchmark is what you've established.
Yes.
And then you set goals to rise above that. And what's interesting is I set all kinds of different goals. I love that we're talking about this, by the way.
That's what we do. We talk about leadership, community, and random musings.
This is all three.
This is live and unfiltered.
So I have a Fitbit.
Yes.
And the Fitbit gives me a benchmark. I know in January, February, March what my averages were.
Sure.
Number of steps, number of calories burned, distance walked, all that stuff. And I can then set goals based on those benchmarks. So right now what I'm doing with my Fitbit is I'm setting incremental step goals. I'm setting very easily attainable micro adjusted goals. For example, if I set it for 4,000 steps a day in January, which by the way, the recommended is 10,000 steps a day. That's supposed to be most people's benchmark. I'm not that. I'm in front of a computer all day
long.
Right. And although I have some days that are 16,000 steps and some days that are 2,500 steps, I'm trying to set a standard for myself. And so I'm going to raise, now it's April, and I've raised it up from my March benchmark, which was 4,100 steps to 4,500 steps. But if you look at March, my average was 5,600 steps a day over the 31 days of March. So
excellent.
Why didn't I set a goal for 6,500 steps? Because the goal is not to beat myself to death. The goal is not to be Mr. Universe. the goal is to be a little bit more active today than I was yesterday. Up to the point where I get to the 10,000, 12,000 steps
I
a
think
day.
that's something else. A lot of people, they set goals and they set it in, all these different areas, and they try to like reach for Superman goal.
Stretch goals.
In every single area. And the reality is you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And so it is okay to have certain areas of your life where it's just like, I just want to do a little bit better. I do think that there need to be some areas in our life that we really are trying to hit it out of the park. My goodness, if every one of your goals is, my goal is to hit a grand slam in every area of my life. Come on. Right. That's not reality.
That's a great example. And if your goal is to go up against a major league pitcher and to hit a grand slam, and you're you or me, right? That's a stretch goal. But if you knew that you were going into it and it was going to be hard work, it was going to be a near impossible to attain goal immediately, but that within a year or two you could probably work up to the point where you can hit a grand slam home run off a major league pitcher because you broke it down into smaller chunks. But that goes back to the whole point of, are you still all in? Because how many of us out there would set a huge goal
and stay all in for the amount of time?
Goal, and 6 months into it, still be at the gym lifting weights, be at the batting cages. How many of us would still we'd give up?
Yeah.
2 weeks into it, like most people do with their resolution.
Right. Here's something that I've got a business plan outlined. If you tweet at JShober and just say, hey, send me the business plan outline on the goals, the plans, I'll send it to you. And it's an outline that I've used for the coaching business, and you can adapt it to whatever business. And it walks everything from, we had someone come into our Monday morning meetup and they're like, what's an LLC? What's a corporation? What's a this? What's a that?
We just had that conversation, yeah.
Exactly. And it doesn't answer those questions, but it's an outline that says, here's some questions to go out and actually start answer for yourself. How's it going to be formed? How are you going to serve your customers? All that kind of stuff. So if you'll tweet at JShober and just say, send me the business plan, and I'd be happy to.
Can you tweet them back the business plan?
I'll tweet them back a link. Sure.
Yeah, you put it on your website. And,
I'll tweet them the link.
I think that's a great idea. That's incredible, and I'll probably tweet you for that later.
And I want to know, because I think, do you follow Michael Hyatt very much?
Only when you send me links to his stuff, and I still haven't watched that.
Well,
episode.
He really is like the expert of taking these like big elephant-sized goals and like breaking them down into bite-sized chunks that you execute on every day, day in and day out. And then you sort of wake up a year later and like, wow, I really did eat the elephant. In my mind, I think that's really what differentiates. That really, we kind of joke, hey, are you all in? If you're all in, show me your plan and show me that you're executing against that plan. Otherwise, you're just, you're another dreamer. I mean, I'm happy for you and everything. But if you're actually going to really turn that dream into reality, you better be delivering on the plan that you made.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
I like to bring clients into the office whenever I can. In fact, I've got Rick coming in tomorrow. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So we've had conversation after conversation about what Rick would like to see. Tomorrow, we're going to actually put a lot of the fine points down and answered a lot of questions. When you start out, sometimes you feel like, I've got a great idea, I've got the answer, I'm going to cure cancer, and you're off and running. But what you really need to do is stop and ask a bunch of questions right out the gate, right? Which is what you do in your coaching practice.
Absolutely.
You meet with somebody for the first time, you're not going, hey, I know what you need to do these 3 things and your business is going to be great. No, you start with asking them 50 questions, and you start with a personality assessment.
Yeah, I start with, why are you even doing this?
Yeah.
Why did you decide to go make widgets? Well, my mom thought it would be a good idea. Right. I hate making widgets, but my mom thought, we may have an indication of a problem here.
Yeah.
But and then I'm walking a client through the E-Myth. Have you read E-Myth?
I was just thinking about the E-Myth while we've been talking about this, because that's exactly what Gerber does, right?
Yeah.
He starts right at the beginning with going, you've got a baker who hates to bake anymore, and he systematically takes them through a series of questions to rediscover their love of entrepreneurism.
Right. Working on your business instead of in your business. And that's exactly what I'm doing with one of my clients, is I'm walking them through E-Myth.
Should be mandatory reading for every entrepreneur.
If you are in any way a professional, you should read the E-Myth.
Yeah.
In fact, I read it when I was still in the corporate world at Dell, and it actually kind of opened my eyes in ways that I could be better at Dell, be more kind of entrepreneurial in Dell, and also help me sort of understand the system that I lived in. Because part of it is, when you understand the system that you're in, then you know how to navigate that system and take advantage of it and to do the things that you want to do to create the impact impact. I mean, that is definitely one of my. I've probably given away dozens of copies of it.
Really?
It's one of my go-to books, and love it, love it, love it, love it.
I have it on audio. I'm probably going to get a letter from a lawyer for saying this on the air, but I got it at the library on audio, and I put it on my computer. Now it's not in some BitTorrent somewhere, but I go back to it again and again and again. I can go to the library and check it out if I wanted to.
Sure.
But I have the MP3 of the book, and I listen to it.
If you're a lawyer, this is Joey McGurr talking.
I'm married to a lawyer. She's probably crawling on the ground right now, wishing I had said it, cringing, screaming, "Stop talking."
Anyway, you listen to it frequently.
We can cut that out. But yeah, I do. Because you have to go. It's a repeat listening kind of book.
And, maybe that'll be a topic for another show. We need to just have a whole, go through our 15 or 20 top books.
Yeah.
That might actually require some homework for us to do.
I'm in the marketing space. And I think that to answer your question, yes, we should do that for another show. But really quick, I just want to tell you about this book that I keep going back to for my business. The book was published in 1990. Mm-hmm. It's pre-internet.
Al Gore had not invented the internet
until 1991 did it become a household service. And so here's this book that I use, and the author, Anthony Putman, he wrote an amazing marketing book. It's about marketing your services. Even it's not even about products, but it's specifically about marketing a service. And it's the kind of book where, again, like E-Myth, he asks questions. He writes it as though he's sitting in front of a client and they're saying, "I'm struggling, help me with my marketing." And he's asking the questions. Where's your email list, or your mailing list?
Yeah, where's your marketing list?
Where's your leads? Where's your contacts? Where have you been putting the message out, and how are you doing that? And in what ways are you getting in front of people? And he asks these questions, and they answer. One of my favorite, right out the gate in the book, he talks about, how do you define who you are when people ask you? It's so simple. Yeah. And he's got a little formula, and he walks you through it, and it's all about asking questions. Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And those are the answers to what you do, and basically your elevator pitch is all contained within 3 questions. Pretty brilliant.
Who do you serve? How do you serve them? How do you measure success? That kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, good.
Well, this has been great.
This has been a good conversation. Hey, let's put some music in here. There we go. Hey, we need to talk about our sponsor, because we are professional podcasters now. So maybe we can talk to our producer. Hey, Mr. Producer, can you put our sponsor's logo on the screen?
There it is. Hey, if you're watching the video, you're seeing our sponsor's logo on the screen. That's big time. We are full-on professional podcasters at this point. So you should expect nothing less than our sponsor's logo on the screen. In fact, someday we want to fill the whole screen in with sponsors'
logos.
So if you
actually, seriously, we're serious, because we are professional podcasters.
Yes, we take this very seriously.
And so if you want to be a part of a show that talks about leadership and community and random musings,
and a lot about Austin, Texas.
A whole lot about Austin, Texas. We want to talk to you. Seriously, we want to talk to you about being a sponsor show. But we really want to talk about bigmaninrealestate.com.
That's right. bigmaninrealestate.com. If you have any questions about real estate, this guy, he's quite literally the big man in real estate. His name's Robert Evans, and he is an expert in Austin real estate scene. And not just Austin. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to buy a house or sell a house pretty much anywhere in Texas, he can help you.
He's got connections all over the country. So if you're looking at moving to Austin, and you've got some real estate outside, he can help with relos. And he's a great guy. Shows up on Monday mornings.
Yeah, he's there at our Monday morning group. Yeah. So we know Robert. He's actually been on a show in the past, so you should go back and listen to that and hear his story about how he came up with the name bigmaninrealestate.com. And check him out. Tell him that the John and Joe Show sent you to him.
Sent you to him. Well, thanks for listening to the John and Joe Show. We are sponsored by bigmaninrealestate.com, and we want you to play a part in the show. You can connect with us at JonAndJoeShow.com and on Twitter at JShober and at Joey McGurr.
It's not like you were reading that at all off a cue card.
I was kind of reading that, but then I got a little bit sidetracked because we started vamping over the first part and the sound started going away.
Well, let's bring it back.
Here we go. So you can continue to listen to The Reason to Start as we exit out of the John and Joe Show. Hey, guys, have a great day.
You've been listening to the John and Joe Show, sponsored by BigManInRealEstate.com. Give them a call if you've got any real estate questions in the Austin, Texas area. For Joe,
And how do you find out what their phone number is?
you go to their website, BigManInRealEstate.com. This is Joey, and on behalf of John and our producer, Little JD.
Little JD.
Little JD. Y'all have a great day.
Go figure it out.